Welcome to the Heal Yourself Rich podcast with your host, Lindsay Dam. Join us as we talk about life and business as a spiritual entrepreneur, navigating pregnancy, motherhood, alternative living, manifestation, and the deconditioning required to forge new paths and create a fulfilling and prosperous life that you are wildly obsessed with. Nothing is off limits in this inspirational, witty, and real audio experience. So take a deep breath, sit back, and enjoy the ride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of today's podcast where I am talking all about trust. Now, I don't know what it is about this topic today or in the last couple of weeks, but it has been flowing through my veins like crazy to talk about, to even create a course on, which I did today. Totally randomly, but Spirit was like, you are putting this out right here, right now. And so I did. And, this is this thing. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I have a bit of a cold and sore throat. And so I might be clearing my throat a little bit as I talk. But, some things just cannot wait to come through. And this is one. So trust it's a heart space quality. Now, this is something that I talk with my clients a lot on, and I coach them on, and more than anything, I give them the experience of feeling this. So before I go into that more deeply on what that means, where our trust is a heart space quality, I'm going to go into more of what it looks like when you are not in trust. So when you're not in trust, you're going to have a really hard time letting go of control. You're going to be trying to, force the way the universe is going to deliver things to you. Let's say if you're a business owner, which if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you are. And maybe you are launching a program and you want to have a $10,000 a month or $50,000 a month or whatever. You have some goal for yourself. When you are not trusting that it's going to happen, you're going to be trying to force things. So, maybe clinging or holding on to a particular outcome, like your financial goal or the number of people that you want in your program, or even an image that you have of yourself, right? If you have one person sign up for your program, you might be trying to force an outcome so that you don't look like a failure. Now, full disclosure, I just went through my first launch of a program where, I didn't work for 5 months because of my pregnancy and, everything that I was going through. I was just really focusing on self. And I came through and, I went through the launch of the Trauma Mind and one person signed up. I had a ton of interest in it. And a lot of people said that they wanted to join the next round after their holidays. The timing just wasn't working, like whatever, right? But I could feel myself tensing up and those old limiting beliefs of, oh my gosh, what are people going to think of me? I only had one person sign up. When really what's happening is this person is having the most incredible transformation. We're only 1 week into it. And she essentially has 2 coaches fully supporting her and walking through it. And Mickey and I, my lead coach, are getting to, really go through this beta program and work out the kinks and, get everything, flowing freely and smoothly. And it's freaking amazing. So, you can look at it one way or you can look at it at another way, right? But either way, when you are not trusting, you're going to be trying to force an outcome without seeing, that things can come from all sorts of angles and from other avenues and directions. So while I was launching the Trauma Mind, I actually had someone pre-enroll for launch. And then after she does launch, she's going to do the next round of the trauma mind, right? And, like I hadn't even announced the launch of launch. And, I've only done like soft announcing of it since then. But, the point is, right, things can come from any direction and you're going to squeeze yourself off from receiving from the universe if you're not in trust that everything can happen and it can all happen right here, right now, in this moment. And also not trusting that right here, right now, in this present moment, you're fine, you're good, right? But what your ego will have you say, or the not self, or whatever word you want to put to it, is going to have you thinking or saying, oh, it has to come this direction. If it doesn't come this way, it means that I'm insert the blank, or fill in the blank. Or, if it doesn't look like this, then maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just get a job, then I'm a failure, blah, 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 right? You're going to be believing all these negative things that simply just aren't true. But because you're not in trust, now trust is really a state of being, and you can only get into that state of being when you are connected with and in your heart space. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, right? But when you are trusting, you know that what you've done is good enough, and you don't have to continue blasting your social media or your email list or whatever with, hey, don't forget, oh my gosh, like time is running out. You got to sign up for us now. And like putting all this false sense of urgency on it, right? A lot of people talk about urgency, and yes, I totally get it. Like there's a start date and everything, but come on, like, are you really not going to allow someone into your program if they sign up after the start of it? Like I always have people sign up after my program start. Always. It happens every single time. And who am I to say no? Right? Like, I don't know what that person went through, their own ego stuff to come through it or whatever. Or maybe they hadn't even heard about it until after the program started. I don't care, right? But when you are out of trust, you're going to have all these rules for how it has to look. And they're simply lies. Rules are lies. Rules are lies. Rules are lies, right? And if you're living by the rules that your ego has, then you're just simply living by lies. Like, that's an amazing riff right there. And I want to put that, I want to cut that out and put that on its own social media post. But, ultimately, trust is a state of being, and you can only access trust when you're in heart space. And when you're in heart space, right, you're going to know that what you've done is enough, right? And if you have an inspiration, you'll show up and go do it. Like today I was on my walk and I've been thinking about creating a program on trust, and was like, well, I just launched the trauma mind, and I'm launching launch. And so I just don't exactly know when I'm going to fit it in, but I will. And my intuition today was so loud. It was like, dude, just do it right now. And so, by the way, for listening to this, I have a program on trust coming. It's coming in December. And right now it's $222. So I don't know when you're listening to this, but if you're listening to this around the time that this podcast goes out and you want to join me, reach out to me. But it's like, it's so strong. And so I just have all this content coming through and this message that just needs to be shared, right? A lot of times people don't understand what trust actually is. And I actually like to recommend to my clients and now to you to go to Google and type in the definition of trust and see what comes up. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of words, synonyms that come up for what trust is, and see which one stands out to you. The first time I did this, it blew my mind. To me, like trust, the synonym that really stood out was reliable. And I was like, ooh. Where have I not been reliable to myself? Where have I not been reliable to other people, right? And it exposed all these energy leaks of like, oh my gosh, I don't trust because I haven't been reliable to myself. Like I said, I wasn't going to eat sugar, and here I am eating sugar. Whoa, that's, by the way, a full-on call out for this present moment, because we just had Halloween. and I'm, been doing a detox. But M&Ms are really good. So it's like, oh, wow, there's an energy leak, right? Where else have you not been fully reliable? Or choose the synonym that works for you, right? And this is going to give you, as you start clearing this up, you're going to start to feel that sensation of trust. Like, ooh, I said I wasn't going to do this and I'm not, right? I'm going to be reliable to myself on this detox, or I'm going to be reliable to myself on this meditation practice or this journaling practice or this exercise regime or whatever, right? Like set something up for yourself and notice, right? If you have a hard time trusting yourself, I bet you're probably also the kind of person that has a hard time letting go of control, and also, or falls off of things that you say you're going to do. Like, did you say that you're not going to buy a latte for a month? And then did you go 2 days and then go buy a latte because you were feeling so great? Did you say that you're not going to buy any new clothes? And then you went out and bought a bunch of new clothes because they were on super special and they were a great deal? Where have you not been reliable for yourself? Where have you not been trustworthy to yourself? Start there. This is some homework, so I really want to hear from you. And maybe you have some ideas in your head already as I'm listening, but what I would recommend is go to the Google and just type in definition of trust and see what words come up for you, what synonyms of trust come up for you, and which ones resonate. Pick one to start with and really work from there, right? You're going to start to cultivate this. The other thing is, now when I talk about heart space, I'm referring to the Heart Math Institute's exercise on heart coherence, right? This is something that I've been trained in. This is something that I take my clients through at the beginning of every call. And I also do a lot of much deeper core heart healing. I believe that this is your heart is the center of it all, right? It's where all of your lower energy centers and where all of your upper energy centers combine, right? It's where they, for lack of a better word, collide, or it's where the energetic turns into the physical, right? It's all through your heart space. And so this is something that I do a lot of work on, especially, with people who have a hard time with relationships, which is most people, right? You have guards up around your heart because you don't want to get hurt. I get it. You've been hurt in your past and it fucking sucks. It hurts to get hurt. It's painful, right? But you can't have the level of love and fulfillment and joy and gratitude and connection that you want in your life if you have all these walls up around your heart. You just can't. So the Heart Math Institute they have a great free resource. It's experience.heartmath.com. They don't give affiliates. I don't get any affiliate for this. This is just an amazing thing. And I give this same resource to all of my clients, right? Because it's just so great. So you learn how to get into what's called heart coherence. And when you are in this heart space, now you can start hearing the whispers of your heart. You can actually start to hear your heart and feel it. And you'll notice it's a very different feeling and it's a very different way of hearing than your ego will have. Your ego can be super persuasive. Your ego or your not self can sound and mimic your heart a lot. But once you really start getting familiar with your heart space, you'll always be able to know what your heart sounds like. Okay? And when you are in your heart space, you can start to feel other states of being and other emotions that you haven't been able to feel before, like trust, right? I trust because I listen to my heart. I trust because I have an open heart. I trust because I do clear up the energy leaks and I do follow the inspired action. And I trust because even though in times of uncertainty, and I'll be honest, right? I'm just coming off of 5 months of not working. There's a lot of uncertainty in my business and in my finances and in all sorts of things. I'm also completely changing how I do things in my business, right? So there's always uncertainty with change, but also I trust it because it feels so right coming from my heart, and I trust my heart, and I have always been provided for. I have always been supported my entire life. I'm 40 years old. I have lived my life going against the grain. I dropped out of high school at the end of my sophomore year. I graduated with honors with a diploma a year and a half early before anyone else did, right? I had my first license to practice therapeutic massage and bodywork at the age of 19. I started my first business when I was 23. I went through the 2007-2008 recession, having my biggest year ever at that time in business because of trusting myself. Right. And it's been a bit long journey in really cultivating that trust. And there have been plenty of lessons where I'm like, shoot, I should have trusted myself. I knew better. Right. And I know that you've had those experiences too. But there is a way to cultivate and to get into this state of trust. And it's going to start with breaking down the walls around your heart. And it's going to start with starting to be more trusting and more reliable to yourself, right? And proving that to yourself, right? There is a way when you have that, when you trust yourself in the small things, you can trust yourself in the big things, okay? And you're going to be able to cultivate this. This is a practice, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but you can feel a dramatic shift. You can feel a dramatic shift within 5 minutes. I promise you. It's amazing. So, connect with your heart. Go do that heart math experience that I showed you, experience.heartmath.com. And I'll try to post a link in the show notes for you so that you can go to it. It doesn't always let me post links, but I will try. And then go look up the definition of trust. See which synonyms really stand out to you and see where you can improve for yourself. For me, it was being reliable to myself, right? Really honoring my word. And that starts with honoring my word to myself, right? And of course, to other people as well, too. So report back to me if any of this episode really spoke to you, if you really started to kind of feel it or grasp it, or if you had some aha moments. I would love it if you would share this and also subscribe to this channel so that you can get more out of it. I so appreciate you listening. I so appreciate your presence and being here with me today. And I can't wait to hear what breakthroughs, what ahas you had on trust.